So, if you do not know, I published a book, basically. It might not seem like a big deal to other people, but it's a pretty big deal to me and to our family, especially since it's been a long time of praying about it. So basically, if you guys know me, or if you don't, now you'll know that I love reading. I've been a bookworm ever since I was a child. I've also loved writing. So like I could literally write stories and poems within a minute. Like you just give me a topic and most likely I could write about it. So I've been doing that for a very long time, and the dream to publish a book was always there, but it wasn't like, it was those kinds of dreams and prayers where it's like I'm praying about this, but then I don't expect it to happen anytime soon. Little did I know. So in 2013, I basically got introduced to Wattpad, introduced to a little author life by writing my own stories. And then in 2015, I made another account on Wattpad. And by 2020, I have 14 books in total of Christian fiction that has not only reached a lot of people, but has, by God's grace, also been able to touch people's lives. And God has just spoken through these stories, which inspires me all the more to see how writing can actually really impact people. And so I would open this up to my family, but like I said, it wasn't like we expected it anytime soon back then. We didn't expect it anytime soon back then. We were just thinking like, okay, in the future, you're gonna publish books, you're gonna write books. But then in 2018, the time came where my dad was like, okay, this is what you're gonna do. You're gonna start writing a book, but it's not gonna be Christian fiction and it's not gonna be poetry. It's gonna be a book from you to the readers based on what you have experienced and what God has done in your life, and you're gonna empower people through this book. In short, it was not the kind of book that I was used to writing. So in 2018, I took the challenge and I started writing. More like for the first month, it took a few more months before I would write again, and then another few months before I would write again. And basically within 2 years, I was just writing every now and then. There were so many other things that would happen. But then in 2020, the pandemic happened around the world, paused or canceled a lot of things. And so I actually had the time to finish writing the book. And the thing was, I had planned and dreamt and prayed that I would publish a book before I turned 20, but then I wasn't so sure. But then now I was having hopes that it could happen. And so I made it a goal in April to finish the book, like the other half of it, which I did. And so at the end of April, the book was done. All we had to do now was ask people who could forward the book or be to be a part of it, like to read through it and help out. And it took a month before we got replies and everything, and then it took like 2.5 more months before everything actually got sorted out after waiting for things to be fixed and finalized. Like Amazon is a really nice place to do self-publishing, but this was literally self-publishing, as in I wrote it, my mom and I edited, and my dad did the cover. And we were all just praying because we did not know how else we could do things, because we would try to pass it, but then it would have to be put back because there needed to be things that were adjusted. And so it took about 4 months before we actually saw any results. It took 4 months of praying, 4 months of waiting, 4 months of growing in different areas of my life and different aspects. Like if you guys have been following along on this channel, you would have seen that there are so many videos that we had to do within this past year. And so all of that happened while waiting for this. And when things started unfolding and we got to see God answering the prayer, like with our own eyes, like we could actually see it, not just knowing it by faith, but actually seeing it happen. In the first week of August, on August 4th, I remember waiting for an email. They said, Amazon said like, okay, it would take about 72 hours, like 3 days to get a reply. And so I was waiting. But then I randomly checked my email, and then I saw an email 7 hours later saying that congratulations, your book is live. And it was just so amazing because I set my heart on waiting for 3 days, but God answered it in 7. The same thing happened on the paperback. The same thing happened with the orders that we had. Like I set my heart on a certain date that was given, but then it comes way earlier. And so another thing that was just so amazing was that the first books that I got, like the author copies, they came in September. But when we opened it and saw the back of the page, or like the very last page at the back of the book, it says that it was published on August 30, 2020. And so I was kind of like discouraged within the few months of waiting, like, will it actually be published before my birthday? Could I publish my book before I turn 20? And then it got published before I turned 20. It got published within my birth month. But what was so amazing was that the book got published, like the first batch got published on my birthday, which is so cool. So anyway, for the rest of the video, I'll just be showing you guys some clips of the behind the scenes or what's been going on this book journey. So I wasn't able to take videos from 2018, but I did this year, and I hope that these clips, this whole testimony, the song and everything will all just encourage you guys and remind you that God is faithful. He might not answer you on your timetable, but he answers you in the perfect time, because he sees every piece of the puzzle, and we would truly be puzzled without him.
I know you love me, I know you're near. Your ways are higher, not always clear. So help me trust you, remind my soul to rest. Faithfully you'll come through, I'm your promise.